Sandy's just like, she mentors so many young people. She's such a positive influence. She does a podcast and a blog. I think you've interviewed me for your podcast.
I did.
She's a good interviewer too, so check her out. What's the URL?
That's called Let's Keep It Real.
Let's Keep It Real.
You were good.
And so Sandy keeps it real. So without any further ado, please welcome Sandy Westin.
Do you like my shoes though? Those are my I've done a lot of public speaking, but this is crazy. Hey guys, how are you? After all that, I hope I can live up to it. I'm actually the opening night. You know how they do the opening act before the main act? We're going to do the floss. Does everybody know the floss? Come on, you play Fortnite, right? Your kids play Fortnite? Are we doing the floss?
Yeah, that's later. That's the end. We have some music in between, and then we
So,
have some sauce.
so all I'm going to make you do is you have to put down your drinks, and we're going to strip first, all right? I think it's really important to be uncomfortable so that, you know, we take risks, right? Isn't that a good thing? Anyhow, I am going to ask you to do me a favor, though. I know you all have a drink in your hand, but the first thing I want you to do with your drink, and you can balance yourself on your stranger, can you just close your eyes for 1 second? Just close your eyes, wherever you are. You got to close your eyes because my eyes are open. You realize that, right? Okay. Close your eyes. I want you to just do me a, ooh, they're dimming the lights for me. Take a deep breath in, ready? And exhale. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. One more. Take a deep breath in. And this time, think of a word that you want to embody for the next year. Think of your word that when you got out of bed, you'd be like, what the fudge, world? Is it joy? Is it love? Is it power? If you could think of one word that would really rock your world, what would that word be? What would it be? All right? Just think of that word. All right, now open your eyes. That's what I do for a living. My job is, I've been very fortunate. I've been in the health club business my whole life. I've owned way many, members have come in, and I got to really work with so many different people of all ages, all backgrounds. And my middle name is Joy. And for me, my only mission, anything I did, I wanted to spread joy. So fitness was my vehicle. I really didn't care if your arms were in shape. I didn't care if you lost weight. I wanted you to have joy. And I got inside their heads while they were working out, and I got to figure out different ways so that they could reach whatever goal they wanted, and it really had nothing to do with fitness. That was just my vehicle to spend time with them. Because the one thing I knew, whether I was working with big CEOs or sports teams, everybody had that vulnerable side of them. Everybody had that side of them that was insecure. And what if I could just help just a little bit for people to feel joy, not because they had a best-selling book, not because they were married, not because they had kids, but what if I could create a system or do something that would help them get in that mindset, not because they were wealthy. It didn't matter. And that's what I wanted to do. And I had a blast doing it. And then I thought, well, what if I could create a system that worked? And, just something to get that positive habit that they could do every single day. And I got together with the best professors from Temple and Yale and University of Pennsylvania, and I got the neuroscientists together with the sports psychologists, with the spiritual leaders, and they all disagreed, and that's why it took me 6 years to write my book, because they all thought the spiritual way was the way, the neuroscientists thought theirs was the way, and the positives, really they're saying the same crap, but I had to take it and figure it all out and put it into a system, and then it took me a year and a half to find an agent, and 33 rejections before Skyhorse Publishing finally believed in me, so yay! But, yay! And now, everyone's like, Sandy, it seems so simple, because I did it for 5 minutes, and we were just talking, where is she? Yeah, that it didn't work. People wouldn't do, I like 5 minutes, I'll change your life, give me 5 minutes a day, you can get what you want, pick an area. My professor's like, Sandy, people don't spend 5 minutes to change their life. I'm like, okay. So 1 to 3, and I went back to the drawing board. And that's really what the book is about. is little things that you can do. It sounds so crazy, but little habits that only take 1 to 3 minutes a day that can really put you in that mindset that I think is mind-blowing. And I think people make too big of a hairy deal. My story, which I was short words of my life, was not in the book, but then I didn't have many words, and I realized I had to tell, is we all have a story, don't we? We all have our journey, and we all have something that made us who we are. For me, everyone thought I was wealthy. I came from the main line. I must have had money to have businesses. I didn't really share, but most people always told me their story. And I found stories fascinating, because I don't think it matters if you had great parents or not good parents. We all have our journey, and we can embrace it, and we can really live into it, and we can show up in life, or we can do the opposite. My life in this book was things I did every day, because I was that person that grew up in the projects, and my mom, not so happy, grew up in mental institutions. So I saw the worst of the worst in these mental institutions and suffering, a lot of our poverty misunderstood. So what do you think I did? I went in and tap danced. I would go in and I would steal their medication. I'm like, you don't need this, you don't need this, you're overdosed. Here we go. And I would tap away. You know what? They did smile a lot. They did. But in my world, I thought, well, what made me so different? Yeah, I always thought I had 5 angels. But every day, I danced for a little bit, I journaled, and I had a word. And I was able to see beyond what was right in front of me. So my gift was, I wanted to give that back to the world. And I got to do it through fitness. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I feel very honored to have me here. And I'm willing to share my stories with you. And I would love to hear your stories, because you all have so many stories. But if the one thing I could pass on to you, don't be all or none. You don't have to go all out. Yes, it's great if you work out for an hour and you meditate and you have that practice. But I promise you, if you just take a minute to 3 minutes to do something to get in that space that you show up for life, it's going to make the difference. And you feel joy, not because you got the deal. I wake up every day and I just feel joy. Well, not every day, but you know, those moments happen. My husband can tell you about it. I get angry, I get pissed. I just have a system to get me back there quicker. So just take a little bit. Don't think it has to be so grandiose. That's great. But those little things, those little habits you create, I promise you, it will make a huge difference, and you'll just have that peace. Before you get out of bed, just think, take 30 seconds. How do you want to show up in life? Who do you want to be? How do you want to present yourself? Yeah, oh, sorry, there's a kid. Stuff's going to happen, but it's just little things. And you all know this, you innately know this. I'm just here to remind you and entertain you. Thanks for your time, guys.